East Palestine brings us to our on-point memo tonight. We are losing the fundamental fairness of the American economy, and it should make all of us angry. Really, you got to give Desiree a lot of credit that she's not more angry. I'd be furious. Anybody who isn't angry should be terrified, because anybody who isn't angry is in the top 0.1%. Don't believe me? Just ask the rich French and Russians. This exactly, what's happening right now in America, is how their revolution started. And it didn't end well for the rich. East Palestine is part of the 99.99% of America that makes the top of America possible. In other words, it's not Wall Street. People there have real jobs. 22% of kids live below the poverty line. The median family made $40,000 a year there. Multiply that by the slightly less than 2,000 households in East Palestine, and the total income of people living in East Palestine, the entire city, combine all of their income, and you get to $76 million. Now consider this headline from the New York Times. What layoffs? Top Wall Street traders score giant paydays. Some large hedge funds that profited off the recent market volatility are ruling traders with tens of millions of dollars in guaranteed payouts. How much, might you ask? Individual traders are getting bottom numbers, guaranteed numbers of $60 million a year. And with bonuses, it only goes up from there. Think about that. Guaranteed pay for one person on Wall Street equals what all of East Palestine makes combined. One person, one town, same yearly income. Actually, most of those one people who are making $60 million plus a year, they don't actually work on Wall Street anymore. They move to Florida or Wyoming for lower taxes. But the Wall Street Journal has an idea to help the rest of us. Here's their headline: to save money, you should skip breakfast. The city, they cite, egg prices up 70% over the past year. Frozen orange juice, something you eat at breakfast, is up 12%. Cereal up 15%. Americans are tough. We know how to sacrifice and pinch pennies. But don't eat breakfast. Tell your kids to go to school hungry. Tell your kids to sleep in a house where there's a smell of chemicals and their eyes are matted shut. That's something out of communist China or Soviet times. Dear comrades, skip breakfast for Mother Russia. We will be strong and take on the imperialist West. Speaking of Russia, President Biden says blame Putin. Remember Putin's price hike? The White House stopped talking about it because it just reminded people of higher prices, but people haven't forgotten how they feel. In a word, we all feel poorer. Frankly, if you don't work on Wall Street, you feel poorer today than you did a year ago or 2 years ago. Speaking of politics, though, there was a different Democratic president, John Kennedy, who came from one of America's richest families. He understood that what's happening right now in America simply can't work.
If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich.
And you need to look no farther than what is happening somewhere between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, East Palestine, Ohio, to understand that we are not helping the many who are poor in America. America was built on the idea of fundamentally fair play. People didn't mind people who were rich. If they did well, then you have a chance. If Sam Walton can build Walmart, so can my kid. Now people rightfully believe they don't have a chance. They don't believe their kids are going to do better than they did. The deck is stacked against them, and it is worse for their kid. Only 30% of Americans believe in the American dream. That's awful. The dream is what binds us together. The dream is what we all believe in, until we don't. America's never had a class problem. We were born free of a European entrenched aristocracy. I didn't come up with that idea. Someone much smarter did, Alexis de Tocqueville. But it's true. America was born exceptionally free, and Americans were exceptionally free to go from the broom closet to the castle. Never happened in Europe. It happened in America. It was fair. Fairness is a uniquely American idea. Now, not so much. It's not about fair anymore. It's about class. The people of East Palestine didn't need to be told this. They feel it. Desiree feels it tonight. You can see it in her eyes. You can hear it in her voice. Most of America feels it, too. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.